Hi, everybody. I am here with my dear friend Mara to talk to you about Curve Camp, and we are so excited to be talking to you. So,
Yeah.
Mara, hi.
Hi.
Could you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Sure. My name is Mara Glatzel, and I am an intuitive life and business coach. And I work with brave women who have the sacred and often stubborn desire for evolution. My work really centers around self love, radical self responsibility, and self trust, which I believe are kind of the core tenets of developing a really beautiful and sound relationship with yourself. So I teach classes and workshops and run live retreats and, basically hang out with all of the most wonderful and brave women all around the planet.
Mm,
And I'm so, so, so excited to be here today to talk about Curve Camp because it's going to be amazing.
I know. I'm just thrilled that you said yes. When I saw your yes come through, I was like, yes. So excited. So, what do you love the most about what you do?
Hmm. I love, since I was a little kid, I loved this sort of exact moment when things went from sort of the like pretty polished version that you show the world, like the part that you rehearse in your bedroom, like you put all of the things together, you put your outfit on, you put your smile on, you put your polish over everything so that you show up in the world in this way that you have really rehearsed. And I love the moment when that begins to sort of crumble a little bit and your authentic self shines through.
Mm,
And I just find it fascinating. Like, I love that kind of real, sort of vulnerable, messy edge. And so, I think that because I love it so much, I have built up a pretty substantial capacity to hold that kind of work and to hold that kind of vulnerability, which I think is hard for most people. I mean, I know that it's hard for me. So it's hard for a lot of people to
mm.
go there. So I really love to experience that myself. I love to witness that in others. And I love to kind of walk that path, that part where, the veneer starts to crack a little bit and our real, like, beautiful, radiant light shines through. I think that moment is so magical. And every single
Mm.
time that it happens in a session or in a class or at a retreat, I just feel like,
It's that kernel of transformation right in that moment. Yeah. So I think you're going to be offering some tools around that in your session. Practice the art of liking yourself through daily celebration. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Um, Over the course of my life, I think that I spent a lot of time waiting.
Mm.
I spent a lot of time putting my life on hold until, I had the money, I lost the weight, I met the, spouse of my dreams, I got the house, I did the thing, all of the benchmarks that we put in front of ourselves and say, like, okay, well, I'll just work, 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 put my head down, and once I get to there, like, that's when I'll start living.
Right.
And what I found was, and what I think most people find, is that there's always something else to strive for. So you're always
Yeah.
waiting, even, and when you attach your self-worth and your self-love and your permission for creating a really vibrant, beautiful life on these kind of like external benchmarks that you're always working towards, you spend most of your days really miserable, and really kind of like holding your breath and waiting for things to get really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So, in talking about practicing the art of liking yourself through daily celebration, it's all about like finding joy in the mundane moments,
Mm-hmm.
and this idea that we're not necessarily on a journey that has a destination, but that, the journey is really the gift, is the process, is the best time. We're going to be in journey, in process for all of our life. So we
Mm-hmm.
may as well start really enjoying it. And I think that, learning to find like those moments of joy and ease in the times that aren't totally pretty, aren't totally perfect. Because for many of us, I know a lot of my clients come to me and they say, I feel like I'm doing self-love wrong because, it goes out the window when something bad happens, which I think is really common, right?
Right.
It's easy to love
I'm like,
ourselves
yes.
when things are great. And it's really hard to love ourselves when things are, I don't know, when there's no money in your bank account or you've got a flat tire or your electricity is getting turned off because you can't pay the bills. Like those are the moments when we really abandon ourselves. So
Yeah.
through like taking things down to a really granular level in your life and just finding moments of celebration and joy, like cleaning the kitchen counter before you make your breakfast, or buying an amazing flavor of toothpaste to brush your teeth, or before the call, Anna and I were talking about putting like magic markers in your shower so you could write down ideas. Like these ways that we bring ourselves into our lives now, these ways that we really like connect with ourselves throughout the course of our day now, instead of waiting until, I don't know, until this external thing comes around that tells us it's time to start loving ourselves.
Right. And I've benefited so much from being part of this conversation you've been having around daily celebration, for not only bringing in those day-to-day moments, but for also when you do get to those successes or big things, just being able to soak it in. I know for me, I've been like, okay, great, that next thing, check. Like, no celebration, hardly any acknowledgement. Like, let's just keep barreling through. And so I feel like not only does the work that you're doing bring in the day-to-day, which has been so life-changing, really, but also brings in, like, the big things, being able to celebrate them, too, without having to just keep striving, like you were describing at the beginning. I feel like it's also helpful.
Yeah. And that's why it's so beautiful for, like, a curve camp setting, because how often do we kind of commiserate around things that are hard for us? Or, with women, I mean, how often do we hear a conversation that's like degrading our bodies, or, talking about our weight, or talking about the things that are wrong with us? And so it's really hard to celebrate ourselves. It's really hard to say this amazing thing is going on and I'm thrilled and, no complaints. It's great. It's really, really great. And so I love being able to do this kind of work in a community of women where we're all there together and we can share in one another's joy and one another's celebration and, feel that like amplification of that good kind of connection that I think so many of us are yearning for. So, yeah, I love that. I imagine it will be a very beautiful venue for lots of self-love and self-celebration.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about that. So, what are you most excited about with Curve Camp?
Oh, well, I think when I was a kid, I didn't have any great camp memories. Like I didn't really have like any wonderful camp sort of moments because I really struggled with letting people see me, with like creating authentic friendships, with, just kind of being who I was. And so, I'm so excited to show up and be part of a community where people are really like all into that, like all into kind of bringing that like gorgeous, wonderful as they are part of themselves, and to be teaching alongside teachers that I know are magnificent and, really, really, really fantastic at what they do. Yeah, I think it's going to be just a beautiful event. And of course, getting to meet Anna for the first time in real
person
life,
after all these years.
it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I think that I can't imagine that the community that you would bring together would be anything less than just totally glowing and fantastic. So that's going to be my favorite part, I'm sure. Just getting to meet people and talk to people and, share stories.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have a great camp or sleepover or something memory? And great could also be funny / never.
I do actually have a really good one. I was thinking because I went to a summer camp, but it was sort of a catastrophe. But when I was a kid, I I live on the tip of Cape Cod, which is about a 2-hour drive from Boston, where they have the Children's Science Museum.
Oh, fun.
And when I was a kid, I went to this event where we got to spend the night in the Science Museum, which
That's awesome.
was amazing. It was really amazing. It was sort of like that movie, Night at the Museum, but, I must have been young. I'm not even sure when it was. But there were kids from all different parts of Massachusetts, and like they had different events set up in each room. And I just remember that there was one which was about doing video interviews, and there was like a green screen, and it sort of was just like showing you how all of the mechanics of that worked.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I love that kind of like late night chatting, learning things that maybe you didn't know before, but that real sense of like kind of like secret fun. And I just love like big groups of women together.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, beautiful magic things happen when, you get to spend that much time with one another and really like dig beneath that layer that we often show the world. So yeah.
Yeah, there's some juice there for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, last question I have for you. What is your favorite, like, go-to self-care practice?
I'm really into this idea of having like a daily baseline of self-care. Because for a long time, I felt like I couldn't totally access the self-care conversation because it was like, okay, great. If I have the time or the money or the, space in my schedule to like get a facial on top of a mountaintop and like have this really amazing experience, like I just couldn't figure out how to access it. And, meanwhile, like I couldn't, like I was struggling to find time to like floss my teeth and make my bed and fold my laundry and, do the really like sort of nuts and bolts things. So
yeah,
I really work with myself around like paring my idea of self-care down to the real essentials, the real kind of like nitty-gritty things, which for me are drinking enough water, starting my day with a glass of water, like before I have coffee, that's crucial, and honoring I have a lot of food sensitivities, moving my body, and really just like taking 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening to like shut my bathroom door and like floss my teeth and wash my face and in space, and like we were talking about at the beginning of the call, that's when I have my best ideas. So like creating a real nice space for that time is so important. So I think that my practice is to really make sure that I hit those milestones every day and not to overcomplicate it or not to, add a million things onto my to-do list, just to like make sure that I'm taking care of myself in a very basic way and then have everything else be on top of that. If I have extra space, like maybe I'll get a facial on top of a mountaintop.
You never know when you might find yourself there.
But I think so many people just put the entire category of self-care on the back burner because they just can't make space for it in their everyday life. So, to find this way, it's just a hugely beneficial aspect of relating to ourselves. Because I think that when we're able to take care of ourselves on a very basic way every single day, that we prove to ourselves that we're worth taking care of. And that's crucial. So,
well, and I think fundamentally more transformative because it is every day. And how often are you on top of a mountaintop for a facial, right? Or whatever. That might be one really good afternoon, but the day-to-day is where it's at.
Yeah. And I think it just allows you to if I focus on like 3 things that I know I can do and I can do well every day, then I just bring a version of myself to the world that's more rested, better hydrated, overall just kind of a little bit more energetically aligned. And yeah, I just think that that's huge. It feels really good. It feels really good to know that we've got the basics covered. It feels really good to know that, no matter what, we're not going to drop the ball on brushing our teeth or, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that kind of care that you can count on is a really like crucial aspect of building our relationship with self-trust.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. And everyone, I cannot wait for you to get to meet and learn from Mara. And I cannot wait to give you a big hug in person. So thank you so much. See you soon.
Okay, bye.